Good evening and welcome to the February 11th meeting of the Waterboro Board of Selectmen. If everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And thanks for coming or tuning in. First order of business here tonight is we have a couple of public hearings. Don't anticipate that either one of them will be very long, but first one is a public hearing to receive comment regarding the special amusement for the Town of Waterboro for the Blues Festival scheduled for August 22nd in Friendship Park. Blues Festival is now going on its third year. Todd, if you could step forward, the Parks and Rec are sponsoring it. And it would begin at what, 6?
2 o'clock, 2 to 8:30. Once again, Rustic Taps will be doing the alcohol.
Okay.
Who's done it the last 2 years. The fire department has been notified, and they'll be having an ambulance on hand and EMTs. I've left a message at the sheriff department. We'll be hiring 2 sheriffs to patrol during the 9 hours that will be open. And we'll be doing all the food ourselves once again. So basically it's going to be exactly the same as last year, but hopefully bigger and better.
Okay.
Plus you have a fence this year.
We have the fence this year, that's correct.
All right. Any comment? Any questions from the board?
There's a little bit of change of law in that food shack.
I'm sorry?
There's some change of law in that food shack. You've got to be certified and food safe. Somebody's got to be certified to be food safe, but quite a bunch of stainless steel that's got to be used in hot water and all of that in any of these buildings this coming year.
Yeah. We have hot water, and I'll definitely look into that.
So it's just to make sure that you're up to snuff on the state requirements, that's all.
Absolutely.
Anything else? All right, we will vote on this later, and I declare the public hearing closed for the special amusement license. Second public hearing is to receive comments regarding write-in candidates in municipal elections, and this is an ordinance. And Christine is here.
I am here.
Oh, yeah, she snuck in there. So this, tell us, in real quick terms, what this means or what this changes for write-in candidates.
It is for anyone to run. They have to declare with us 60 days prior to the election, so we know the people that are running. So at the end of the night, we don't have to count anybody unless they have declared as a write-in. So it saves a lot of time for our people. We won't be writing down 20, 30, Mickey Mouse, all those guys. We have to write them anyways, but it's just they have to declare so we know who's going to be there. And then we post it outside the guardrails that who's declared, if there's any people declared. So in your package, you should also have the write-in candidacy, what they would have to fill out with me prior to the election. So Title 21A has already done this, and of course our charter says we need to follow, but we have to approve it as an ordinance. So, so that's all.
All this is going to do is
give us a heads up, really.
Yeah, and people ain't got to go get 25 signatures. This is another way around getting the signatures.
That's true, but their name won't go on the ballot either.
Right.
I mean, they would have to really
but
go out.
But it'd be a way around, because if you don't do it in 60 days, the paperwork's got to be in within
Yes, well,
So
no.
90 days.
Yeah, without casting any aspersions to our illustrious legislature, what is, if I'm running for a local ordinance, I mean, a local position,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Any position for that matter, my paperwork have to have the nomination papers in.
Yes.
How many days before the election?
45. You pick them up 90 days
Right.
prior to. You have to have them in 45
Right, so
days.
where did the 60 days come
The law,
from? If-
the problem is
That's where-
the law changed to 60. The law has changed, but our ordinance specifically states the time. That's why ours is different. The state now is 60 days prior to. I mean, there's different, they have a shorter
So, I
time,
mean,
longer
So
time frame.
realistically, we ought to have a small charter change
Yes,
to reflect the state law.
the state law.
Yeah.
Yeah, that changed a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
but we can't change because
can
ours
do
is
that.
specific.
We can do
We can do that on
Yeah.
a referendum question, so we probably ought to.
We could change it to refer it to and not
Right,
put the
right.
60 in there.
Yeah, because ours is specific to the date,
Okay.
the time frame. So that's it.
Any questions? Comments? We'll vote on this later. So
Okay.
thank you for your
Perfect.
time, and I'll declare the public hearing for the Municipal Elections Ordinance closed.
I told you it'd be quick, Christine. Thank you.
Any announcements from the board? We don't have any additions or deletions to the agenda. I think we're all
No, sir,
set,
nothing to
right?
me.
So we do have an appointment tonight with contract deputy with us. It's going to give us a report, his final report, as he'll be moving on. But Kevin, the mic is yours.
Thank you for having me. So you have in front of you the 2019 stats for Waterboro. So for Waterboro in 2019, we handled 6,812 calls for service. That's combined between things that were called in and self-initiated stuff. So the self-initiated stuff is the things that the deputies are calling in themselves. So I can go over a few of the high points. We had 14 assaults, 188 assist citizens, and that can be anything from answering questions to unlocking their door if they're locked out of the house, something like that. We had 259 motor vehicle complaints. Those are the driving complaints when somebody calls in a possible OUI that's coming through town. 7 motor vehicle burglaries, 4 burglaries in progress. 7 burglaries in progress. 4 were reported in the past. So people came home, found their house had been burglarized. Those were called in. That was 4 of those. 78 disturbances. Domestic disturbances were 49. 136 directed patrols. So a directed patrol is when a deputy picks a certain area of town to patrol. If they're going to set up like a radar detail on Daring Ridge Road, they'd create a card for that. That's a directed patrol. They're going to sit on Daring Ridge Road. They're going to run radar for an extended period of time. They create a card to document that. And then there's additional cards created when they actually stop cars. 76 emotionally disturbed people. We had 78 motor vehicle accidents with personal injury. 166 motor vehicle accidents with just property damage. Traffic stops in the town was 1,470 traffic stops within Waterboro. 138 suspicious activity calls, 22 trespassing calls, and that's a pretty good summary of the high points that have been happening in town. That's what I have for you. A couple of high notes, motor vehicle burglaries. Motor vehicle burglaries are being called in, and the only thing I'll say to that is people are leaving their vehicles unlocked. And when people are out doing motor vehicle burglaries, that's what they're targeting. The cars that are unlocked, they go and try the doors, they're open, people go in, take what they want. If you don't want people to break into your car, keep your car locked or don't keep valuables in there. House numbering. That's a big issue. We can't find people's houses if they're not numbered. So that's one thing that I've struggled with the 2 years I've worked as the contract deputy. People need to number their houses if they want us to be able to find them. And then the last thing I'll touch on is we all know that in today's age when people dial 911 either on purpose or on accident. A lot of times people are giving their cell phones to children, old cell phones that don't work anymore. They give those still work for 911. So when you're giving phones away to kids, they can still call 911 on them. If that happens, people need to just stay on the line and explain what happened, because then we don't have to do a big hunt to try to find them, and it saves a lot of time if we can actually talk to the people about what happened. That's all I have.
What if it's a kid and he dials 911 on an old phone? You're not gonna know.
Right, and those are even more difficult because a lot of those are 911 only phones. Once a cell phone doesn't have a cell phone plan assigned to it, and they dial 911 on it, it comes in as a 911 only phone, so we can't even call it back. So they're going based on, they're sending us to an address, but there's a confidence level in that address. It may not actually be that address. So sometimes they're hard to track down if we can't talk to somebody. So the biggest thing is, if you do it on accident, just stay on the line and explain what happened. A lot of people will go, oh no, and hang up. We can't call it back to get the info we need. So
But you still get the GPS coordinates.
we do.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chair? On motor vehicle stops, would you say most of those are for speeding? Or is it just kind of...
I can only speak for me personally. I didn't run the stats to see what they were actually for. And I would say for me, yeah, the majority of those are speeding.
So, I mean, that's people that are concerned about speeding. I mean, that's over 1,400 stops last year for
Yes.
speeding in
Yep.
Waterbury.
Yep. I mean, there's a combination of other reasons. I mean, inspection stickers. I can't say that they're not defects, headlights out, but I stop a lot for speeding, personally.
Thank you.
You're
Good.
welcome.
Yep.
What's that?
Good.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing.
Sure.
Something I've noticed recently, not just in Waterboro, but statewide, but because we're talking about Waterboro, I've noticed an ungodly number of vehicles with not having current registration on their plates.
Yeah. It's a problem. And I stop them for them all the time. And it's a traffic infraction if they have to get a warning for the first 30 days.
Right.
And then you can summons them after 3 days of the first warning. And then after that, it's a traffic infraction up to 150 days. After 150 days, it becomes a Class E crime. It's a misdemeanor crime to have an unregistered vehicle greater than 150 days.
What happens to the vehicle at that point? Is it towed?
9 times. I mean, it's officer discretion, but I usually tow them, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So not that I ever experienced this, but if I just failed to put my stickers on,
That's a completely different thing. Yeah, that's completely different. So when we do conduct a traffic stop, we always ask license, registration, proof of insurance. If the stickers aren't on the plates, but you hand us a valid registration, plus we have the ability to run it either over dispatch on the radio or we can see it in front of our screen on the computer, that's a completely different thing. Yeah, that's not an issue. We may say, hey, put your stickers on, but you're not going to get a summons for that.
no, other than arguing.
Right,
I'm
right,
gonna say, no,
right.
it's registered. Yeah, can I see can I see registration? And there's the
Right.
tag
That-
stapled.
Exactly, yep.
2019 orange stickers are expired, so those are easy.
Right, exactly.
Tape, so you can
Yep.
tell them that.
Do you have a feel for of those 1,470, how many people actually got a ticket, paid a fine? 25%?
That actually paid their fine? Is that what you're asking?
Got a ticket, so.
Got a ticket on it? I would say it's almost 50-50.
Yeah, I was just going to say
I think it's
50%.
half warnings and half
Yep.
speeds.
Probably dependent on their driving record.
Right. And I was taught a long time ago that we deal with 10% of the population 90% of the time. So same thing with traffic stops. You'll stop 10% of the population 90% of the time, and usually it's a warning first time for me, and then they get a summons, and they get a summons every time after that. So a lot of them are repeat offenders.
Cheaper to take care of it.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Not for me.
Deputy Collins will be leaving us. Already, I think, has left us.
I have, yes. But I'll still be around. I'll still be helping with the transition, and I really appreciate everything everybody's done for me in Waterboro, and I'm happy to help. I'll still be around. I'm not going anywhere.
I want to congratulate you on your
Thank you.
promotion and wish you well in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
How's that?
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you've done here.
You're welcome.
Bridget, I saw her hand go up quick.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
I got stocks this week, and I was
You got
wondering-
stock?
No.
Yeah, no favors here, right?
No, I'm really curious because I haven't been stocked in a long time, and I wonder if there's still a difference, because it was many years ago that I got stopped and I was given a written warning, and this time I was told I had gotten a warning, and I didn't know if there was a difference between an oral warning and a written warning.
There is no difference for technical terms.
In terms of my record,
So as far as your record goes, were you stopped, depending on what, did you get stopped in York County or was it another agency?
I stopped on Bennett Hill Road.
There you go. So those warnings just stay in our in-house system. They don't go, they're not reported to the state or anything like that. They stay in our in-house system. So if another deputy stops you and gives you a warning, or you received a warning for speeding, and another deputy stops you, they can go into our in-house system and see that you were warned on whatever date it was that you
Okay,
were
so
warned. And
it's
then they can make their decision based on maybe the fact that you were just stopped a week prior to that, or they can use discretion based on the information they have, but it stays in our in-house system.
So I don't get any points, though.
No,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
No, but now every deputy in York County now knows that you've
What kind of car do you drive?
I know there's a target right on the back.
This is on Facebook Live.
Yeah, here I am.
Thank you.
Well, again, thanks for coming in, Kevin, and we wish you well in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the sheriff may-
We also
Major
have Sheriff King here this evening, and
Thank you. I'll be brief. I just want to, actually extend my thanks to the Town of Waterboro and for the collaborative relationship that we have, and also to Sergeant Collins. He was honored by the Maine Chiefs of Police last week for a life-saving award for that incident that happened a couple of months ago. And he was also selected as the Deputy of the Year statewide by the Maine Sheriff's Association. He'll be getting that honor next month. We do concentrate on traffic in Waterboro, but one thing I did want to point out, that in addition to the tickets, it's astounding to me of how many times a traffic stop will turn into a multiple warrant arrest. It's happened twice in the last 2 months. Waterboro is a very important town, obviously because of the people and the growth, but also because it intersects everything. The people that are passing through to get to Limerick pass through Waterboro. The people that are going to work, everything seems to pass through this town. So I sincerely appreciate your assistance with this, with the contract deputy program. I know we have an FBI task force. We have a detective on that. That detective is, obviously, he can't say too much about the ongoing cases, but it's touching Waterboro on several things, and we're shutting down organizations that typically would feed this town. Major crimes have dropped, and I appreciate the faith that you've showed in us, because when we look at the statistics, the major crimes in Waterboro and the surrounding areas have stopped. Now, I did want to mention, though, that some of you may have heard that the state police are refocusing their policing efforts. In York County, we have a unique call share agreement with the Maine State Police. They have 5 towns: Hollis, Lebanon, Dayton, Lyman, and Alfred. Statewide, they're scaling back their rural patrol. What that means for us, we recently got word verbally that they're going to be giving us back Hollis starting in January 2021. So, and then there will be a gradual releasing of towns. I want to assure, you folks that your service will not be impeded by us having additional responsibility. I'm reaching out to Hollis to tell them that, and in the interest of transparency, I'm using Waterboro as an example. I says, Waterboro stepped up. You know, we have regular meetings. If there's a concern, they're very collaborative. They are an engaged community that want to know what the police are doing, and we're happy to accommodate them. So I am using you folks as an example and urging the folks from Hollis, McCoubry and Rita Perrin, to reach out to you folks just to find out how the contract deputies program is going, because they also need to hire contract deputies if we're going to be able to patrol them effectively. So I did want to mention that to you, and again, if you have any questions for myself or Chief Barron, we're here to answer those.
So they're gonna, in 21, so by 25, you're gonna have the whole enchilada back?
I don't know, they don't have
At least
that.
they give you one.
Well, the big one is Hollis is a very busy town. I would suspect that it will probably be Lebanon next. And then, because the other three, Alfred, Dayton and Lyman, there's not a lot of calls for service there. But Dayton and Lyman have been talking about a contract deputy for quite some time. Limerick has also talked about a contract deputy. So I'm trying to get these towns that don't have contracts now to step up, because we could really provide a very effective service, if we had that little bit of assistance. And yes, I am going to be putting in my budget for additional regular patrol deputies, to help out with some of this increase.
Well, good. Any questions, Sheriff King?
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. I'd like to open it up, any public comment? Anybody that's not on the agenda? Correspondence, we do have the treasurer's report and motor vehicle and excise tax reports available if anyone's interested. Selectmen's reports, anything, Ted?
No, sir.
Tim?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Dwayne?
ZBA had finalized their meeting the other night. Short and sweet, but the fellow got his permit that he needed for possibly foliage.
Okay.
Worked very well.
And we're starting to work the main budget, and I'll be at Eco Main on Thursday. So, Gary, you have anything?
I do. I'm glad you folks don't have much to say, because I've got a whole sheet full here. And start off with the community center. And they met last night with the architect. Scott Simon's Architect is the firm that's been hired for this not to exceed $25,000 concept design project for a possible new community center. And this committee is down to, well, actually they're back up to 8 members now. But it would be nice to have some people that have worked in construction, legal, finance, bankers, fundraising, civil engineering, surveying, so that if and when the voters, a year or 2 or more years down the road, decide that this project's going forward, those people could then be a building committee. We don't know if it's going to happen or not. I put in a reservation to the high school to hopefully have the lecture hall there for March 23rd, which supposedly is going to be the night where the architects will have 2 options for us to show the public in terms of this idea. And remember, this is just an idea. It's not a project that's been approved yet. We don't have any land. We don't have any money for land. This committee is also starting to look for ideas from people about land, though. And as you've seen walking through Town Hall, it's a bit of a mess. Pete finished painting all the walls. The coat-based molding will be replaced by the end of the month, and things are going to look a little better around here. And these sketches on the walls that you folks have seen by the code office, those are going away. And I'm going to show you a good example of why they're going away. This is from the comprehensive plan. And where I'm showing you right now is a helipad. And right next to it is a hotel and, what's that other one say right there, Sheriff? What's that word?
Office
Yeah,
complex.
and that's on the Malone property. The town did not buy, and it's also just a concept idea, and it's confusing the public. So these things need to be taken down because they're not things that are actually going to happen. They were just concept ideas as part of the comp plan. Ledgeview Lane, we talked about at the last meeting. It's a subdivision road that It's going to be, the selectmen are going to be asked to approve it, and Lee J is working on that with some monumentation issues on the lot lines, lot corners rather, and hopefully he'll have that ready for you folks at your next meeting or on March 10th. The Budget Committee continues on. Joanne Andrews, very graciously, and Josh was here too to help out that night, came in and presented Clint's budget that he completed before his passing, and that went very well that evening. And general assistance and public works budgets were also presented, and that's the last of the major budget presentations. So Terry and I are trying to finish the actual document. The next Budget Committee meeting is tomorrow evening at 4:30, and they can start their deliberations and their priorities, and I'm hoping they'll finish on or before February 24th, and then they'll forward their recommendations to the Board of Selectmen. On February 12th, that would be tomorrow night, the RSU 57 School Board has a discussion item on there that's the superintendent's proposed school calendar. And I'm hoping that the school board will approve that calendar, and part of it is the high school being closed on Tuesday, November 2020 presidential election, so that we could use Massabesic East for an election. This building will be overwhelmed if we have to do a presidential here. It was overwhelmed on the gubernatorial election before. So stay tuned, and if that gets passed tomorrow evening, you probably hear Christine and Nancy and myself holler from our homes, if you will. And if you know any RSU 57 board members, please reach out to them, because we really need for this to happen. Mr. Paul Fortin, whose company owns over 2,000 acres in Waterboro, is interested in having the Trust for Public Lands come back and have a dialogue with selectmen on a huge parcel of land in the northeast section of town, up beyond Chadbourne Ridge Road. And there'll be more information that will come from Trust for Public Lands, and I'm just telling the selectmen now that this is something that just happened yesterday. So stay tuned for more details on whether or not there'll be more discussions on that, actually in a board meeting. We have a presidential primary on March 3rd, and 3 weeks from today, that is going to be at this town hall facility. Normally on a Tuesday, we open at 11 o'clock to the public. That day we'll be closing the front office at 3 o'clock, so both Sharon and Georgia, who'll be the only people working out front, can go over to the polls and help for what may, we don't know, be a voting rush from the 4 to 8 time frame that day. We have no idea what we're going to have for turnout for this. Obviously, there's only one Republican candidate, but there's 12 candidates on the Democrat side, and we just don't know what it's going to be. So we'll have the extra spaces out in the new gravel parking lot plowed out, cleared of snow. We think we could fit probably 30 cars out there in addition to the 67 we have on each end of the building. We hope that that will be enough. Recreation and the Funergy kids will be meeting off-site that day. And everybody else in Town Hall will remain open as usual until 7 o'clock that night.
Just as a reminder, it's not just a primary vote, there's also the people's veto vote, and you're starting to see signs around. This is the question that rejects the new law that removes religious and philosophical exemptions to requiring immunizations. I won't read the whole thing, but for those that may not be participating in the presidential primary, there's still a statewide referendum question that will be offered.
And I recently got a letter from the Massabesic Lions Club. They're having, and we could use some help from citizens if there are youth in the community of both Alfred and Waterboro, ages 13 to 18. They have an annual youth recognition night to show appreciation to 6th youths from 13 to 18 in these two towns. It will be a meaningful and memorable evening for the kids with their parents, a supper, and some type of a motivational speaker. And if you're interested in nominating a young person, that needs to be returned by March 9th. You can contact me, and I have forms and contact information here. I'd be happy to do that. And the last thing I have, Mr. Chairman, is 2 weeks from tonight, we're going to discuss whether or not the Board of Selectmen would be in favor of the Snowmobile Club adding a new storage building out behind their clubhouse. For fire regulations, they had to get their equipment out of that building because there's meeting space up above. They've been using those temporary sheds. They'd like to build a building. So you'll see a letter to that effect and some more discussion 2 weeks from tonight. That's it from me. Thank you.
Any questions, comments? All right, let's run right into the new business here. Discuss, vote 2017, 2018, 2019 abatement for map 31, lot 13. And it just so happens to be up on the big screen here.
Yep, Shirley will join me at the podium and we'll be kind of a tag team. We're on the east shore of Ospey Lake. That's East Shore Road right there. Townhouse is out here. And this parcel right here is the one owned by the gentleman that's in your packet, Mr. Purvis. We think we owe him some money. And the reason is, this parcel down here is 100-foot frontage, right where I'm highlighting right now. And we think back in 2008, plus or minus, when this lot was created, that 100-foot frontage never came off his. As you know, waterfront frontage is very expensive. So Shirley made an adjustment that she can do for this year.
Yeah, I made one for 2019 because he came in last July.
Last tax year, right.
And so and then I adjusted it for this fiscal year, 2020, and according to his deed. But then he came back in November and asked, he had had a survey done, and he brought the survey map in. So I made another adjustment according to the survey map. And he also asked at that time to go back to the prior 2 years. So that's what's on your list, is the small adjustment for last year and then the full adjustment for the prior 2 years, 17 and 18.
So the grand total is, well, 123 and 12 cents for 19, and then $1,451 and change, $1,432 and change for the previous 2 years. So we're looking at what,
$3,007.
Yeah.
And this is a legitimate request. He did not have all that frontage that he was charged for, so we do feel we owe him.
Somebody else is paying the tax on it too.
Yes, well, what we believe happened, and he did too, was we think that when they separated, it was the same owner that owned both of those two properties, 13 and 13A, and when it was separated, it didn't get removed from 13, and so he was overcharged.
So Shirley, was this house here built
Yes.
in the last 10 years, or
I'm
did it
not
have
sure.
two dwellings on it long before?
I think it had the two dwellings on,
Okay.
and
Split it
then
off.
they
Split it into
split it
two
off.
lots.
Yes.
Okay.
Is this done as a credit if approved?
No,
It's an actual
he's
refund.
asking for a check.
We'll give him a check.
Yes.
We owe it.
which would come out of the overlay that we put into the tax basin. So what is your pleasure, folks?
I would move that there didn't seem to be much question that the town owes him the money. That I move that we approve his request for the abatement in the amount stated,
$3,007.04.
and pay that to him in the form of a bank check or a cashier's check or whatever.
Our checks are good.
Do I have a second to that?
I will second that.
Any further discussion? Sensing none, all's all in favor? Opposed?
5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. Item B, discuss vote to approve special amusement permit for the Town of Waterboro for the Blues Festival scheduled for August 22nd. What is your pleasure there?
I would move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
I do have a discussion. Do we at this point own Friendship Park? Or does the land trust hold the deed to it? There's a rumor out there that maybe we've slid a deed by mistake to the land trust, and we don't own Friendship Park at this point.
First I've heard of that. I've always assumed we owned it.
Something we probably ought to check into before we start issuing permits on maybe something that we don't own right now.
Well, the special amusement permit could be anywhere,
Right.
okay? They're gonna hold it on.
Yeah.
At Friendship
I
Park
just
doesn't
don't,
mean that.
my biggest
Right.
concern is lawsuits or
Yeah.
somebody falling and it's
Well,
on
we
the
just-
land trust land and not
We need
Friendship Park.
to close that loop, that's all. But I don't see any reason that we would not go forward with an approval or disapproval or whatever. Anything else? All those in favor? Opposed?
It may be a rumor.
5-0. Hopefully.
Second item was discuss the vote to grant permission for alcohol, or I believe that's malt and vinous
Yes.
beverages to be served at Friendship Park, and I believe they're still using rustic taps or
Yes.
whatever. Who's been doing it for the past couple of years, so what is your pleasure there?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
5-0.
Discuss vote for appointment of warden for the 2020 elections.
Make a-
This covers all of the elections, right?
March 3rd, June 9th, and
Yeah.
November 3rd.
So, the primary vote, the June, it used to be a primary vote, but I guess, I don't know if it is still a primary vote, but June, and then the presidential election on November 3rd.
Make a motion to appoint Bob Powers.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
If he's willing.
I was gonna say, if he's willing.
He is.
He is, all right.
Any discussion?
I have one question.
Yep.
God forbid anything happens, if something should happen to him and he's not able to do this, then
We'll have to,
will we have to go through this again?
We'll have to appoint someone else.
Okay, all right.
Can we decide on an alternate tonight to take care of it all at once, or?
I don't think we need to.
We don't have one for you.
Okay.
So all those in favor of the motion? Opposed?
5-0, thank you.
Discuss a vote to close the transfer station due to lack of lighting during the evening hours. I would assume that's why we have a couple of gentlemen in the back. This was at the request of Selectman Woodson. We had some discussion on it. And I think we have a couple of black holes, so to speak, down there at night. So.
After coming out of the finance meeting the other night, I realized that the light had never been put on the gate that one of our employees had got hurt on, and that the compactor, I believe it's the recycling or the cardboard compactor, has no lights at all. This was brought to the board back in August or so, I believe, or was brought up at a meeting, and I thought it was all taken care of. It was news to me that we don't have the proper lighting down there, so at this point, we need to take care of it. It ain't something that we're gonna wait till next year and put it in next year's budget. We don't need any employees down there getting hurt, or the general public getting hurt. My thought is if we can't get this done within the next month, then close it for the daylight, darkness hours from sunset to daylight, which is probably a 2-hour span on a Wednesday night, which I understand the general public uses it hard, but we need to get these lights up for safety.
Why can't we do some type of temporary lighting until something else is put in there? You get light all units to sit down there.
Yeah.
Why can't we just do it?
Well, I would
The
agree.
ground ain't frozen. The poles, if we call the right person, probably $500, $700, $800, we'll put the poles in if we need a pole. They drill all winter. They're putting new poles in everywhere. taller poles. It's not a big deal to set a pole this time of year, but we got 2 backhoes down there that can set the poles. We could get down 6 feet.
And you've got, based on your communications last week, we do have somebody lined up to install the lights, or at least...
Yeah, well, the memo I sent to you folks would be, as you go in that front gate, to the left, that's where that pole would go. We do need to dig a trench and get a line out there. There is a pole right behind the recycling compactor. The fixture's broken. First thing we could fix is that one. That would kick some light out, but I think we need some more right out by where the little house is, shining down into the hopper, for a little bit better visibility there. Those are the 2 areas that I thought were of concern.
All right, so have we initiated some action to have this done?
For Norman's Electric to come, hopefully by the end of this week, to actually replace that fixture and give us an estimate for what else that would be. I've not lined up anybody to set a pole. I don't recall this being talked about in Augusta. If it was, I missed it in August, rather. I mean, I don't know if...
Well, I guess the message is we need to get
input here.
We need to get some light in there because it's going to get better now because the days are getting longer. But it should be fixed so that we're not. And I would agree with Wayne. Let's not put this off until next year. It's something we can do right now. Let's do it. So.
And you carried money from last year's budget to this year substantially, either for the building or equipment for the transfer station.
So we carry that over. So there's got to be there's more than enough money to do it now.
You have your most current budgets. I mailed them to your expenditures today.
All right. So let's fix it so we don't have to close Wednesday evenings. And if we got to, in the short term, if you got to go, as Ted says, go pull up one of these temporary lights for tomorrow night or whatever the case may be. Somebody can go into the outfit there on Pleasant Hill Road and grab one and rent it for a couple of nights, you know. But
whatever it takes, but.
Yeah.
If the lights aren't on, I guess my
if we have
thought
no light,
is let's close it because
right.
I don't want somebody hurt.
Yeah.
We've had this before, and we don't need to go down that road all the time.
Okay.
You want some input from staff? I have no idea what their thoughts are on this, but I wouldn't mind hearing their thoughts, if they wish to speak.
Just on the lighter side is, as you know, Dennis, we get reports back from EcoMaine on the percentages of contamination. And in the darker hours of the winter hours, if you will, Joe can't see a damn thing that's inside the hopper. It's all dark. He can't tell what's being thrown inside.
The recycling hopper.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The big green.
It's not helping.
It's like, you almost have young Joe sitting out there in the evening hours for no reason at all, because you just can't see.
He can't tell what they're dumping in.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's all I want to say.
They make, I got 2 of them we work at night with, battery packs.
Right.
With floodlights, but that's not what I want. I don't want a temporary fix. I want this fixed and fixed right, not Mickey Mouse it and, oh, this will get us by. Let's put these poles up and get some adequate lighting on it so that these guys know what they're doing and can see what they're doing and not
First thing
get down a crooked road here.
Is take all the old lighting out of there and put new digital lighting up there that makes it look like daylight.
Lights, it's something that you can see.
That would help.
Yeah.
Some of the existing lights that are there aren't much brighter than the lights in these rooms.
Yeah, I mean, in today's age, yank those fixtures down and put a new,
35 feet up on a pole.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Any other input from you folks? We'll have a discussion on the amount of weight that we're hauling in on.
I don't mind making a motion to close the transfer station in 2 weeks if the proper lighting isn't out. so that nobody gets hurt. And in 4 weeks, it's gonna be daylight again, but we need to do something rather than wait till the fiscal year of
Yeah.
2021.
Well, I think the message is received, and we need to just, and if it's not done, then I think we take action in 2 weeks, and that's that. So,
Okay.
Okay.
I've got another comment, and it's not on the agenda, but with what Joanne presented the other night, I feel that the estate needs 2 or 4 weeks' pay for what Clint has done in the last couple of months getting this budget done. Just as an appreciation.
Oh, you mean to,
It's up to you folks.
to pay
Yes.
joint?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think that,
I mean, I
certainly,
don't mind making it a
certainly
motion, but
she committed a lot of time to Clint when he was putting the things together anyway, so we should compensate her for it. All right.
if you want a motion on that, I'll make it, but
I think we can take care of that without the,
I need to know an amount. I mean, I'm not gonna pick that out of the hat myself, so.
I'll take a motion with an amount to fix that.
I would make a motion to pay Joanne Andrews a month's salary,
Clint's salary.
Clint's salary for the, doing the budget this year.
Clint did the budget.
Right, but he hasn't been paid for it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. Just initial discussions, we don't have to have a list tonight, but discuss items for the annual town report dedications. I know last year we did the two,
The young
they're
ladies?
not centurions, but they were, what do they call it, what's the term?
Octogenarians?
Yeah, they were both over 100 years old, that's all I know, but,
One is since passed, but one is 101
Right.
years old.
right. So, I mean, we recognized them last year. I think that there's some opportunity for us to recognize folks, which, you know, we didn't put it on the agenda as a follow-up, but the Spirit of America Award too, that, Bruce, can't remember his last name, but has sent emails to everybody. I think
Yeah.
that Dwayne made a recommendation. We probably ought to have some discussion, because we can nominate those folks anytime and whatnot, but you had two very good
Yeah.
suggestions. So,
One of them, I understand, really don't know where he is, so, it's,
okay, so your thoughts on dedications? I guess we'll just bring it back at the next meeting, and, if we got a list of names, probably ought to look at anybody that passed in the last year that's, sometimes we forget.
I think it's kind of nice to do it while they're still living.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that they can take some pride in what they've done.
Yep. So let's bring this back as old business next meeting, and anybody that's got any recommendations, bring them in. Anything else on that? If not, there is no old business. Other business, discuss vote to approve the minutes of the January 28th regular meeting.
So moved.
And seconded.
All those in favor? Opposed? Week's action list, I think you got your list to do. Agenda items for next meeting.
Snowmobile Club, new building discussion.
Snowmo building.
The only reason that's coming to the selectmen is because it's a leased piece of property.
And I assume it's the town, but we'll have to look into that, I guess.
Right. Yeah, let's
Right.
just, again, we don't have to put it on the agenda, but it would be nice to just clarify the ownership of Friendship Park. Seems how we're giving leases out to both organizations.
Well, I wonder if that piece of land would be pulled out of that.
I don't know.
So what did you see that made you think it was legal?
I was told that, and I believe it came when they logged that piece of property off. The land trust just logged off a piece of property off the power line out in back of the snowmobile club and whatnot. But it was,
I didn't know that they owned any of this property out there, but that's,
they took
I
some
lose track of what
ungodly timber off there.
Yeah.
I mean, more than you put your arms around.
So is this a land trust member that sold that to you?
Yeah,
Had they seen any documents?
I believe so.
Do we want to talk?
I take it that probably that's been surveyed or at least done the boundary lines on.
Do we want to continue with the land swap discussions?
Yeah, I think we gotta wait for, and we probably ought to have some negotiations that should probably be in executive session, but I mean, it's certainly not a secret that we're entering into those, but I think the negotiation would be done in an executive session, and then we make a proposal, but I guess really is.
Doug Jr. is willing to meet, and Doug Sr. has said it's fine if the board wants to meet with Doug Jr. to talk about this, so if we want to schedule that at one of the next two meetings, that would be fine.
Yeah, we can do
both of
that,
them.
but I
Where-
think,
Where we left off was that we would, in order to protect the taxpayers, would be required to do a class 1 survey, is that what it was called?
That's a basic one,
Yeah, it's just a basic
That
survey.
outfit is gone.
And
out of
that's
business,
where
so,
everything fell apart.
yeah.
What did you say?
That outfit that we had in here that night is gone out of business.
Oh, geologist?
Yeah.
She retired, yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of other geologists out there.
Right, but the outfit that we had in here that was all gun-ho to do something, was just kind of close to doors.
Anybody can do one of those initial assessments, that's not a challenge.
all right, so we probably should set that up in the next, if we can do it at the next meeting, that's fine. If not, then we'll push it off for another meeting. Anything else?
I'd like to have a discussion on a death benefit for employees who pass away during the last year they work in most municipalities, and I know of will give them a year's pay because it's already been budgeted. I think that should be up for discussion.
You get that automatically at being members of Maine Municipal Association. You get your salary and a life insurance policy.
I had, go ahead, finish up.
No,
MMA is requiring some of these towns, and I don't know if Waterboro's involved in this, on the weight limits on their town roads. Shapley has got a vote over there coming up on the weight limit of their municipality roads because of this upping the weight limits on the state roads.
So,
I believe that the forestry, it's a forestry bill, but
so it's gotta be a recommendation from MMA, right?
Yes.
They can't tell us what to do, they can advise.
there's something in that state law that they are now looking at that the municipality has got to approve.
So road limits.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in writing, so, but I was told that this morning having coffee.
Okay. Anything else? Well, sensing that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Good night, and thank you for coming.